Nityanandam. Let's start the power manifestation session with the Sadguru Vandanam. Let's sit straight, visualize Bhagwan in third eye, and let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatītam Gaganasabasham Tatamasyadilakshyam Ekam Nityam Dhanalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nityanandam, welcome to Sri Kailash Kotiyar Manifesting Power Session. Such a powerful and such a great blessing, initiation, darshan, and powerful cognitions that Bhagwan has so beautifully, with all the authentic, all the media material that he has presented to us, how important it is for us to wake up to the higher reality. It's so important how he has given this powerful cognition for us to understand the greater reality that is waiting for us, a beautiful life positive space that is waiting for us to enjoy the Hinduism and grow into the ultimate super consciousness space. With that beautiful space, let's get into the power manifestation. So today, we're going to explain each and every concept before we go into the power manifestation. So first, we have what is power manifestation? Here, Bhagwan himself is going to give a small narrative of power manifestation. Power manifestation is nothing but a cognitive shift and can infuse powerfulness into any action or state that we are in. It raises the frequency of our body and mind to the ultimate powerfulness. We know only the state, waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. Bhagwan is raising us the frequency to Turiya Tita state, the superconscious state, awakened state as Turiya state, and consciousness as Turiya Tita state. Now we'll see a small clipping of how Bhagwan guides us through this powerful cognition. The power manifestation is nothing but a cognition shift and can infuse powerfulness into any action or state we are in. It raises the frequency of our body and mind to ultimate powerfulness, Turiya Tita. So next, we're going to see how we understand about Maha Sadashiva. Here, here Bhagwan is going to talk about the 5 faces and 5 paces of Paramashiva. Constantly what is happening inside us to create this reality that we are watching, the perception that we are creating constantly is again the creation of the Paramashiva, of the 5 faces, which is intermingled with other 5 faces, and Bhagwan himself is going to explain in his word how the 5 faces of Paramashiva, the Srishti manifestation phase, Srishti sustenance phase, Samhara regeneration, Trobhava delusion, and Anugraha liberation. Such a beautiful space is happening continuously in us. When we understand the beautiful space in us, we start understanding the higher reality. Here, Bhagwan himself is going to explain in detail the 5 phases and 5 phases of Paramashiva.
Through the 5 phases, Paramashiva does manifestation, maintenance, rejuvenation, pulling out delusion and liberation. He resides in his supreme Paramashiva Swarupa as Ajomuha, Radhomuha, unborn. beyond formlessness, is Paramashiva Swarupa. That Paramashiva Swarupa manifests in these 5 phases.
Just creation getting created. Even sustenance need to be created. Destruction need to be created. And pulling out of delusion and liberation. He resides in his supreme Paramashiva Swarupa as Ajomuha or Adhomuha, unborn. Beyond formlessness is Paramashiva Swarupa. That Paramashiva Swarupa manifests with these 5 faces as Sadashiva, Tatpurusha, Vamadeva, Ahora, Satyojata, Ishana. 5 faces he manifests and does the Panchakritya, Srishti, manifestation, Sthiti, sustenance, Samhara, rejuvenation, Trobhava, pulling out of delusion, Anugraha, liberation. Understand? He does all these 5 jobs. Through these 5 phases. Now listen carefully. Tatpurusham, Vamadevam, Satram, Ishanam. ACE pace. It's not just FACE, PHASE. Understand? The creation. Not just creation getting created. Even sustenance need to be created. Destruction need to be created, and pulling out of delusion need to be created. Liberation need to be created. Then creation, manifestation need to be maintained. Maintenance, sthiti itself need to be maintained. Destruction, samhara, the rejuvenation need to be sustained, maintained when it is happening. Pulling out of delusion through bhava need to be maintained when it is happening. And anugraha, liberation, need to be maintained when it is happening. Those micromilliseconds when it is happening. So understand, Satyojata Murti as 5 face, Ishana Murti as 5 face, Vamadeva Murti as 5 face, Agora Murti has 5 face, Tatpurusha Murti has 5 face. So, Tatpurusha Murti as is 5 face, Agora Murti has is 5 face, Vamadeva Murti has his 5 face, Satyojata Murti has his 5 face, Ishana Murti has his 5 face. All these 5 Murtis, 5 faces put together is 25 faces of Mahasadashiva. Understand? All these 25. I'll repeat, listen. Creation created, manifestation manifested, 1 face. Sustenance manifested, 2nd face. Destruction manifested, 3rd face. Pulling out of delusion manifested, 4th face. Liberation manifested, 5th face. Then manifestation sustained, 6th phase. The sustenance is sustained, 7th phase. Destruction, rejuvenation is sustained, 8th phase. Pulling out of delusion is sustained, 9th phase. Liberation is sustained, 10th phase. Listen. Then rejuvenation, destruction, rejuvenation is manifested, 11th phase. Rejuvenation is sustained, 12th phase. Rejuvenation is rejuvenated, is 13th phase. Rejuvenation is pulled out of delusion, 14th phase. Rejuvenation is liberated, is 15th phase. Same way, continue. Pulling out of delusion, Prabhava. Prabhava manifested, 16th phase. Prabhava sustained, 17th phase. Prabhava rejuvenated, 18th phase. Prabhava is pulled out of delusion, 19th phase. Prabhava is liberated, 20th phase. Then again, listen, Anugraha. Liberation manifested, 21st phase. Liberation sustained, 22nd phase. Liberation is rejuvenated, 23rd phase. Liberation is pulled out of delusion, 24th phase. Liberation is, listen for the dimensions of it on this, that is enough. If you are in a space, can Your brain, by meditating on this, manifests the state, space, powers of Paramashiva.
Nityanandam, about Bhagwan, His Divine Holiness, Nityananda Paramashivam, is the reviver of Kailasha, ancient enlightened civilization, the great cosmic borderless Hindu nation. His Divine Holiness is an avatar from Hinduism and a supreme pontiff of Hinduism. His Divine Holiness, Nityananda Paramashivam, made science of power manifestation, yoga, temple-based university user-friendly for the modern world. His Divine Holiness, Nityananda Paramashivam, survived the worst prosecution in multi-level by anti-Hindu elements. Kailasha, led by His Divine Holiness Nityananda Paramashiva and his Hindu diaspora, are working for global peace and is a founder of Nityananda University, which has extended campus in 150 countries. His Divine Holiness is 293rd Guru Maha Sannidhanam of Shamala Pita, Sarvanya Pita, Swaragapura Adinam, and present Maharaj of Suryavamsa Surangi Samrajyam. Now we are going to see a small clipping of Bhagwan himself and how he has revived the great Hinduism back to planet Earth.
Everything is infinitely powerful. You realize your potentiality. You establish yourself in the completion, space of completion. You are God, that's all. All of us are gods. The first experience is that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360 degree. I realized not only I was able to see, I was able to feel, experience the skin of the stone on rock on which I was sitting and the skin of this body. Both carry me equally. In both I exist equally. Sangha is a place where the tattvas are taught to you, and till it becomes satya, you are supported. Akkadas are basically founded by Sadashiva himself. All his ganas, Shiva ganas, exactly the word gana means. In your length, breadth, depth, if you are filled by Shiva, you are Shiva gana. All the Shiva ganas formed the first Akkada. Later on, much later, Kapila Muni organizes Mahanirvani Akkada. Then all other Akkadas. As Mahamandaleshwar of Mahanirvani Akkada, the oldest apex body of Hinduism, I welcome every one of you. What I am teaching is from original Agamas Yogapada. The science very clearly declares, Sadashiva is very clear. Manifestation of these powers happen when you experience oneness with Sadashiva. When you choose your guru, the best thing is find a person who is enlightened, experienced, who can play with energy, who can directly transmit experience to you, and who is in tune with the original Shastras, the source of the knowledge. All the revealed scriptures available about the yoga directly by Sadashiva for you to do research, study, practice, question the people who teach. Let us go on contributing.
Now we'll go to the Shastra Pramana. Bhagavan beautifully explained how he's reviving all these great truths by giving us the reference of from the scriptures, the Veda Agamas, how our Hinduism lived and how we manifested, how we understood yoga, how we understood everything from the Veda Agamas. He's reviving the original scriptures, original way of starting to live the great life of Hinduism. Now we'll be going through the Shastra Pramana. Shastra Pramana is from the scriptures. Bhagavan has given us from the Hindu scriptures, from Vijnana Bhairava's Tantra, and each of these sutras give us the ultimate science that Bhagavan himself has given us in detail, the translation.
Now, for the power of consciousness over matter, silicon, is taken from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 128, Dharana 95. Kvachid vastuni vinyasya shanair-drishtim nivartayet tajnanam chitta sahitam Devi Shunyalayo Bhavet.
So beautifully, he explains here, having fixed one's eyes on a particular object, Vastu, one should slowly withdraw the sight from that object as well as slowly eliminate the knowledge of that object along with the thought and impression of it. He beautifully says how we understand. It's a simple example. if you see the clouds in the daytime in the sky, you will be seeing the clouds, and you will be seeing that the clouds are blocking the sun. But if you see actually in the night time, in the dark pitch night, when you don't have the moon, we don't see the clouds. The clouds are seen because the sun is there, but we always assume sun is blocked by the clouds. When we understand and start looking in a different way, that because of the sun only, the clouds is seen by us. Because of the space of Paramashiva in us is why we perceive this world. Having fixed one's eyes on a particular object, Vastu, the only thing we understand this perception of this reality is because constantly we think this reality is real, forgetting that the source of this reality is Paramashiva in us. Bhagavan himself, Paramashiva himself has come as our Guru, as Bhagavan, and leading us through beautiful space of oneness to experience these great truths. He says, when you look at the object, be it a flower, you say it's a rose, you have a label, you say it's color, you say that it has a smell, you say that it has a soft touch. All these dimensions, the knowledge, the impression that you have is only a basic level. But if you see the deeper part of it, it is the consciousness which is even giving us those details. An object or a plant will not describe those. A dog or a cat, animal will not describe those. But we are able to understand, cognize, and we are able to give more reality to that because there's something more in us. That consciousness, the Paramashiva space in us, makes us understand the object. Whenever we are more into the inner space, understanding who is understanding the object, we start understanding the higher definition, the higher multidimensional logic. Whenever we are in the outer world trying to figure out what we are doing in all the action, we are deluded into the action thinking the action is going to give us the result. The skill, the knowledge, the ideas, the views, whatever we have in the outer world, it's still outer world. The inner consciousness beyond the clouds with the sun which is there, which is giving the light to even the clouds, that which is the consciousness in us, which is giving the name, label, even to the object that we are seeing. So here Bhagavan beautifully translates, O Devi, one abides in Sunya, the state where there is nothing other than this exist, which is the state of all inclusiveness or infinity. So once we understand that it is not just the object we perceive, but the perceiver itself, not just the seen, but the seer itself, who is actually giving the whole state to the object that we even see it. So beautifully he says, when you understand which is matter and all the five senses, who is experiencing through the five senses, if you start looking at that, the way you will connect to the world, the way you connect to everything will be from the state of Paramashiva. Understanding that from the Shastra Pramana, we'll go to the Apta Pramana. What is Apta Pramana? Apta Pramana is what the great rishis have experienced. The munis, rishis, and great people on planet Earth who lived as gods and goddesses have experienced the higher consciousness, the super consciousness. Here we have Kali deity and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the greatest avatar of mankind that Bhagavan himself has told us many times. He lived with Kali, and the Kali was about like 3 feet, but he lived as though she was real. She was living. He would ask her to give the hand so that he could put the bangles for her. He used to feed her. He used to talk to her, and she used to answer him. All that was possible because he never understood matter. That's what I should say. He never understood matter. He was only consciousness, the pure space of oneness that he experienced, the pure space of Paramashanta Swarupa that he experienced, the ultimate oneness that he displayed in our frequency for us to understand that all the superconsciousness is real, and we can experience it when we start connecting to the higher realities. Such a beautiful space that he had, and we have so many reference also. Anda lived exactly the same way. Manikavachkar lived the same way. So many saints, they lived in complete oneness. They don't know the difference between the space of Paramashiva and themselves. They only know Paramashiva exists. Themselves doesn't exist. The object disappears when the whole inner space just melts in oneness with the ultimate. The more and more you bring Bhagwan's darshan inside you and understand the higher reality, such a beautiful space will open up that you will see there is something huge beyond just the matter. Living just in the matter is too minimal way of experiencing our life. Here, Bhagwan himself has given a beautiful story, the Atma Pramana, how he fed Ganesha. Many of you would have heard many times, but it is the most exciting story, especially for the kids, because he himself came one day for one of the programs and sat and did a Ganesha idol in one of the engineers program for the kids, and he himself taught the kids how he made the Ganesha. Here, Bhagwan himself wanted to feed Ganesha. He got the Ganesha as a gift and he wanted to feed the Ganesha. It was so intimate for him. He was only 6-7 years, very, very small kid. And he wanted to Ganesha to eat because he heard the story Nambiyanda Nambi from the great saint, that Nambiyanda Nambi, when he approached giving the Nevedyam, he himself said, I'm going to give up my life if Ganesha is not going to receive the food. To that extent, when Bhagwan heard, he was so inspired. All the words that Bhagwan speaks to us is to inspire us to live as a superconscious being. The ultimate sacrifice that he has done to come down to planet Earth, to make us understand the greatest reality that exists and not the humanity suffer with all these delusions. Here Bhagwan himself play the Leela, because as per the Veda Agama, the Guru has to go through all the Leelas to show that in human body, how we can experience the superconsciousness. So he himself takes the Ganesha. I think Ganesha would be celebrating the whole Leela to enact the part, how Vyasa and Ganesha were writing the Mahabharata. Like that, Bhagwan himself had a great, beautiful time with Ganesha. Ganesha got to be with Bhagwan continuously for 2.5 days. And he has to play the role of trying to resist, not take the food that Bhagwan gives. And he played also the beautiful role. Bhagwan himself feeding Ganesha. First, he enacted how we humans would feed Ganesha. He forced him to eat. He even nearly drowned Ganesha into a well, keeping him very carefully in a bucket. Like how we parents literally take care of the kids, blackmailing them into other things if they don't do. So same thing he did as human and showed us how we were behaving. And then he says he had a beautiful click that Nambiana Nambi, that there in that story, he himself sacrificed himself for Ganesha to eat. So he decides to go on dry fast as a kid for 2.5 days and no sleep and dry fast. It's the ultimate sacrifice a kid could do. And literally he was in the verge of fainting, and he literally very close to Ganesha lies down, and when he wakes up, whatever food, the Naivedyam that he had kept, was the offerings were accepted by Ganesha. It's such a beautiful story of oneness with Ganesha that Bhagwan played this Leela for us to understand the intensity, the will persistence we should have for any of the power manifestation. The will persistence is holding, you know that Ganesha or any deity that you have, or even the stone which you consider as a deity that you have, is already taken the offering that you have given. And from that, having the persistence that I am going to make it happen. To show the will persistence, what is will persistence? He enacted this whole Leela for us to understand the greater science. So this is the Atma Pramana, Apta Pramana, and Shastra Pramana we saw. Here we have lakhs of devotees of Bhagwan feeding the Ganesha. We have the Shakshi Pramana all over the web. You can see how Ganesha, he's the Bholenath. He is always friendly, the most friendly God, Bhagwan says, because he's a Lord of completion. Before we cook any food for Ganesha or we do any ritual, the first thing we do is take just a lump of turmeric and just put it in front, and we will call it Ganesha. We won't even do a shape on it. We just keep a lump. To that extent, Ganesha really guides us from that matter. He's so friendly and always available. Bhagwan says, whenever you call him Maha Ganapati Parampurale, he simply comes and the Acha Avatara starts taking the offering of Naivedyam that you offer. So here, the one important thing I want to show you is when he's taking any liquid, please make sure the ground is very clear, neat, and dry. We do not have any capillary effect or any of the spillings. Why the matter, which is the offering that you have in the spoon, is disappearing because it's just falling down, which is a logical binary logic. But there is something beyond. When you offer with a deep gratitude and oneness with Paramashiva, nothing spills, but it just disappears from the spoon. Bhagwan himself consumes the whole matter into energy. So we want to experience the ultimate. Before we start, we have few words to understand the more and more powerful cognition. We are very clear, the more and more expression of us and experience becomes more clear. So here we are going to talk about few great truths that we will be using in all the power manifestation session instructions. So I want to go over these words before we start the power manifestation. Just few more minutes. So the first thing is the Shakti Pada. If you understand all these, you will be deeper connected and you will be in such a beautiful space to experience the superconsciousness that you are Paramashiva. Shakti Pada, becoming one with the cosmic soul. Shakti Pada process, it is the presence just sitting that makes the individual soul one with the cosmic soul. Bhagavan gives a beautiful example now in the video how the hen sits on the egg that simply becomes the chicken. So we'll just watch a small clipping before we go to the next oneness.
Let me give an introduction about what is Shaktipada process. Please understand. You would have seen or heard about how the chicken sits on the egg and hatches. Of course, in the modern countries, this does not happen. Machine sits on the egg and our egg sits on the machine. In those days, originally when hens and chicken were getting produced on the planet Earth, the hen used to sit on the chicken and hen used to sit on the egg and the chicken will come out of the egg. The same way, Sadashiva, sitting means the ultimate cosmic energy sitting on the individual soul and making the individual soul into cosmic energy is Shaktipada. Hen sitting on the egg and making the chicken happen, same way. You may think, how come, what is going on here? That hen is only sitting just by the body heat of the hen, the egg is becoming chicken. Because no surgery is done and nothing goes inside. It's only sitting. Same way, it is just sitting. It's only the presence, the Shaktipada makes the individual soul into cosmic soul.
That's the beautiful explanation of the individual soul becoming cosmic soul, just sitting, just nothing else. Bhagavan beautifully describes the oneness. He says about the oneness, it's not just an imagination length level or visualization breadth level or even declaration, just the depth level, but there is something more than that. That is the space when you're ferocious from your boredom and tiredness. Oh, how long I should do, how many times I should do, what is these, too many things are there. All the words from boredom and tiredness should be ferociously dealt, and you will break into a beautiful oneness space of eternity. And we'll just see a small clipping on oneness now.
Oneness is not imagination. Oneness is not visualization. Oneness is not even just declaration. It is your existence. And an idea which is you is oneness. The idea which has become
part of your very space, which does not tire you or bore you by the passage of the time, is oneness. Mahadeva says in the Agama, Sadashiva beautifully explains in the Agama, Kala, Yama cannot tire you or bring boredom to you if something becomes your space. Devi achieved the blissful state and union with Mahadeva on Shivaratri day because our space became oneness. Anything which brings tiredness or boredom has not yet become your space. If living in this body brings you tiredness and boredom, you are not going to be living in this body forever. When that becomes too much, you are going to drop it and move ahead. If you want to be in oneness forever, it should become part of your space, means you should become ferocious with you and break this very tiredness and boredom. Only when you deal you with the ferociousness, you break the tiredness and boredom. With that ferociousness, you need to make oneness as your space. Anything stands as an imagination in the length level, visualization in the breadth level, declaration in the depth level. If you open your time with ferociousness, it just sinks into space level. With this ferociousness, the time layer in you opens, and the oneness from imagination to visualization to declaration, it becomes your space, the way of existence.
So beautifully, Bhagavan explained the oneness, how the tiredness and boredom need to be literally crashed in any of the actions that we take, especially in Paramashivoham program. Just do not listen to any of the mind which brings the tiredness, boredom, self-doubt, self-denial, self-hatred. No victimhood, no self-doubt, no tiredness, no boredom. That is the space of oneness Bhagavan beautifully describes. It's nothing else beyond the tiredness and boredom, which doesn't tire you and bore you. That is the space of oneness. The last one which we want to really go into is the unclutch. What is exactly the unclutch? We heard Bhagavan say so many times. Let's hear from Bhagavan. The neutral space between two thoughts is to be unclutched. Now we're going to play a small clipping of literally the beautiful space of unclutch.
The thoughts, every thought is independent, illogical, unconnected, and unclutched. Because the gap between two thoughts is too small, the neutral space between the two thoughts is too small, you think all the thoughts are connected and it is in the shaft form. It is not. By your very nature, every thought is independent, illogical, unconnected, and unclutched. Between every thought, you experience a neutral space. When you change the gear, whether you go from neutral to 1 or 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 or 4 to whatever gears you may change, but every time you have to come to the neutral space. Only then you can go to the next gear. Even if you want to go from 2 to 3, you have to come to the neutral space. Only then you can go to 3. Same way, between every thought, you experience a neutral space. You experience a neutral space between every thought. Between every thought, that neutral space, that silence is what I call peace or bliss. The peace which exists, the bliss which exists already in you, between every thought, the gap of the thought, the gap between the thoughts, that neutral space is the peace, is the bliss. When you understand you are unconnected, independent, illogical, and unclutched by your very nature, you will start experiencing the neutral space in you, neutral space which exists in you. You will start living from moment to moment in spontaneity. We need to understand one more thing. This technique of being unclutched, it does miracles in your being, in the body level, or in the mental level, or in the being level. In every level, when you understand the truth, by your very nature, you are unclutched. The tremendous quantum transformation. You take a quantum jump, the transformation happens in quantum, not step by step. Just on jump. You take a quantum jump and experience the truth awakening in you.
Such a beautiful, literally giving us the ultimate understanding of unclutch. That is the very nature of us. As long as we don't project the mind, we are in the space of the nature, completely unclutched. I just want to explain two more words before giving the instruction, the initiation. Every day when you have Bhagwan's darshan, anytime, even in a flyer, even in just a clipping that you see, it's an initiation for us. Whenever you see Bhagwan, Bhagwan initiates you from the binary logic to beyond. A mind cannot grasp what is consciousness because consciousness is not inside the mind. It is beyond. So we have the mind as small as, like how you can call, even if your mind you think as an elephant, the consciousness is like multi-universe. You can't even compare. If you understand that the mind which is existing, which is can be the one which just leads you into the delusion, that's more than enough to understand there's something more than that, which is the consciousness, Paramashiva himself. So anytime Bhagwan darshan, he gives the darshan when we start the satsang, that very darshan initiate you into something more, something beyond. Like in your deep sleep, you don't exist. You don't have the taste of five senses. You don't have the eye to experience. You don't have the mind. You don't have even the body. But you say you're most happy at that space because something beyond is experienced. When you wake up only, you get to know that. So here, when you are in waking state, there is something more which exists as Turiya and Turiyatita, that Bhagwan darshan really transform you to those spaces to experience the ultimate. That is why Bhagwan's darshan makes you so blissful, but no reason why. It's not the appearance, it's not his words, but something is there more. What is that? That is the initiation from Bhagwan's compassion for us to grasp that. Even for that, we should be in gratitude. Even to get blessed, we should be in gratitude. Because of Bhagwan's presence, we are even to experience that great truth. That is the initiation. And Bhagwan says, anything I can make you manifest. But one thing is, if you are integrated, like how Bhagwan is integrated to Paramashiva, he says he manifests everything because he is Paramashiva in human form. Same way, when we are integrated to Bhagwan, simple integrity, simple obedience, Bhagwan always says, it naturally flows in us. But sometimes we are not integrated and we are more integrated to our mind. So Bhagavan gave us another way to get integrated. Whenever we chant this Mahavakya, we are in ultimate integrity and start experiencing the oneness. It is like a key. You have a key of a huge door and a huge castle, but the key is very small, but it still works and you are opening the whole castle. Like that, when you use Mahavakya, when you chant Mahavakya, you simply open your Dvadashanta, the energy center, which gets connected to the ultimate, and you experience the ultimate. So Bhagavan beautifully describes the revelation that he received from Sadashiva about the easiest way to be in the space of oneness with Paramashiva. It came in form of sound. Bhagavan beautifully says how the electricity, electrons and protons and neutrons, we have electricity displayed for us. Same way, the sound energy makes us connect to the superconsciousness. So Bhagavan revealed this password, the Mahavakya, for us to connect deeply in oneness with Paramashiva and manifest the powers. So here we are going to be manifesting the power of feeding Mahaganapati. Take your Ishta Devata, any deity that you have, and you can really connect to Ganapati and or your Ishta Devata, that deity that you have. If you don't have deity you have made in the turmeric, you can take that. Or if you have not made the turmeric also, you can just pick up a stone and feel the oneness with that. It will become the deity for you today. So any of the object that you pick up and connect that it is your Mahaganapati, it will be Mahaganapati. Every matter you perceive is because the consciousness is also there in the matter. Otherwise, we can't even perceive the matter. So if you understand the higher reality that Bhagavan is telling us, we'll be able to connect to everything as Ganesha and everything as your Ishta Devata. Now make sure there is no spilling, no any liquid under the deity when you feed the deity. Because no question of binary logic, only multi-dimension logic, that when you say Maha Ganapati Parambole, please take my offer. Bhagavan, make Ganapati take this offer. Simply, he will take whatever you offer. Whenever you are in humbleness, in gratitude that Bhagavan has made you experience that. So make sure you have a video record of complete deity in an angle such that we can see the deity completely. Even you can have the Atmalinga that you can feed to, but make sure the video that you record is completely showing us all the angles, so that you can show the world how your deity had taken the offering that you offered, just like Bhagavan that he showed us in his Leela. So let's give the deity anything that you mostly cherish. And once you're finished feeding the deity, you can update. We'll let you know how and where we'll be updating. Now let's start. Let's sit straight. If you can sit in Padmasana, that's the greatest thing. But if you're comfortable in a chair, perfectly fine. But sit with your head, neck and back in a straight line, so that the Kundalini raises to your Agnya, your third eye, and experience the higher reality that you are Paramashiva. Remember Bhagavan, Swamiji, in your third eye, with the absolute unclutching, understanding this whole perception is just a dream. Like how the clouds is just your perception, thinking that clouds are blocking the sun. So the perception of the outer world, for a few minutes, just unclutch from that, whatever it be, your pain, body pain, your financial issue, your relation issue, you have suffering from health issue, everything is not real. It's a dream that you are going through. Unclutch completely, make it redundant for a few minutes and just be in such a space of oneness with Ganesha. you, Ganesha, and Bhagwan himself manifesting through you. Just be in that beautiful integrity with Bhagwan and experience the oneness. Any thought comes, again and again contemplate, hey, this is a dream. I'm not going to perceive this. I'm going to be unclutching from this and be in the space of oneness, just me and Bhagwan, feeding Ganesha today. So be in that beautiful space of oneness and chant the Mahavakya, the greatest password that Bhagwan has revealed. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. We have a countdown of about 11 minutes and play the oneness for you. You can chant along and the Ganesha will be taking your offering immediately. He has waited too long for us to start. So he's going to take the offering. So please have the Ganesha with the tissue under so that we know there is nothing spilled. And let's start the Mahavakya. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.